Hello everyone, my name is David. I'm a life coach. This is my weekly question and answer videos that I do every single Monday. I'm answering people's questions from last Monday, the last Q&A videos. And any questions any of you have, please feel free to ask me anything you want. Go down below into the comment section and ask me a question. I'll answer it in the next Q&A video next Monday. I'm helping people, or trying to help people, heal and recover and grow from different types of trauma, post-traumatic stress disorder. So the best way to heal from this is to understand, to know what happened to you, to really, truly understand it. So that's what I'm trying to do here, is help you guys understand what happened to you. So something I like to do every single week is recommend something. It might be an author, another YouTube channel, or some kind of supplement, or something that I just think might help you guys in your journey. This week, I'm going to recommend something that a supporter of the channel recommended last week. Emily from Latvia. Hello, Emily. She's a supporter of this channel. She recommended a book that she says really helped her. She says, "Hello, David. Emily from Latvia. I am currently 5 months. No contact from my ex-narcissist after 12 years of abuse. It was my codependency issue that I had. I found very hard to say no to people in my old life. May I suggest a good book that helped with this matter? Book called How to Say No Without Feeling Guilty by Patty Brightman and Connie Hatch." What a perfect title, huh? "It helps me build healthy boundaries with people. Many thanks, David, for all your valuable information you share." You're welcome, Emily. Thank you very much for helping me too. So this book is at Amazon, like many other things I recommend. And there's a link down below in the description box if you'd like to go check it out on Amazon. It's very affordable. There's Kindle, hardcover, and paperback. And the book, again, How to Say No Without Feeling Guilty and Say Yes to More Time and What Matters to You. A challenge that I face with most of my clients is forming healthy boundaries. It can be very difficult for the first time in your life. It can feel very awkward. It goes against our programming in our brains. So anything to help with that is beneficial. So please go check out this book if you're interested. Something that I asked some of my clients to do is to go for a whole day saying no to everyone. No matter what somebody asks you, you have to say no. And you can't apologize. You can't apologize, and you can't excuse it. Very difficult. That can be pretty hard for anybody, but it at least brings more awareness to your problem, that you have a problem. I think agreeability is something that really can damage us. And I think that's our programming growing up, that we have been programmed to just agree, be quiet, shh. Don't tell people how you feel. And that's what your boundaries are. It's telling people, you know, what you're comfortable with and not comfortable with. And these are communication skills that are absolutely mandatory to get what we need in life, okay? Thanks for the recommendation, Emily. I appreciate you very much. So let's dive into the questions. The first question is from Melissa in Washington. Hello, Melissa. "I carry a lot of shame with me from childhood, specifically around my weight. I struggle with looking at myself in the mirror. It's gotten worse since I went into contact with my covert narcissistic mother and family. I struggle to let go of the shame I carry. I have 2 young daughters, and I don't want them to pick up the limiting beliefs I carry that keep this shame with me. How do I identify the shame beliefs, and how do I release them?" So one story that I like to tell to help people understand what shame is, and it's a story to tell the difference between shame and guilt. And I think it's really necessary to know these things because we don't want to live with shame. Shame is low self-worth. And if we don't believe we're worthy of help, of good people in our lives, of doing good things for ourselves, you can see where that goes. Big trouble. So I made up this little story of a 10-year-old boy. Imagine a 10-year-old boy sitting in his room, and a father comes in and spanks him and tells him nothing, doesn't say why, and leaves. That's shame. That boy believes he's a bad person. If the father instead came in and told him what he did, "You did something bad, please don't do it again, here's your punishment," and I don't believe in spanking anyways, but just to prove the point, he spanks him and says, here's your punishment for doing something bad, don't do it again, okay? Just that is guilt. That's guilt, and that's I did a bad thing, and that stuff goes away in time. You can apologize, you can do your punishment. Friends, good friends help you get rid of guilt. Really. So shame is I'm a bad person, and that can be very difficult to heal from. And even more reason to know why. We need to learn and understand what happened. We need to understand that our father that hit us was, he was hit when he was a child, and he's an alcoholic, and he has lots of rage, and it's not your fault. You're not a bad person, okay? This isn't something you can just tell somebody. This is something that needs to come out in talk therapy. Okay, Melissa? Number one way to help with shame is talk therapy. Shame is a secret. Shame's a secret. And when that secret comes out, there's less shame. We need to understand what happened and what made you feel ashamed of yourself. Okay, Melissa? Talk therapy, number one. And if you're not in it, that right there shows what shame is doing. Okay? There's a ton of people that want my help and they don't get it. And it's not just because of money. I know this. It's taken me a few years to see this. That people feel too much shame. They're not worthy of help. Okay? So, talk therapy, number one. Melissa, here's what I wrote down here. I'm sorry for how you feel about yourself. Talk therapy can help you so much with the right professional. Things that also help are learning to accept all parts of ourself. If we're ashamed of ourself, we don't like ourself. We may hate ourself. We're not accepting who we are. And so, all parts of yourself, not just your weight, your thoughts, your feelings, your past, and your future. Make plans and healthy relationship with friends. Okay? That's how you get better, okay? I'm sorry for your experiences that make you carry this shame with you forever. Gypsy Feet from Montana. Hello. I'm looking for channels that are... Oh, you know what? I'm getting out of order here again. Let me go back to the beginning. I'll get to you in a second, Gypsy Feet. Probably in part 3. Hopefully I can get this done in 2 parts. Hi, David. This is for Christina with the confusion over being discarded for whatever reasons, not a question. Christina asked a question the previous week, about being discarded. Audrey wanted to address her. One thing I try to remind myself of is that my reality is not anyone else's, and theirs is not mine. I can only speak for myself here, but I know I lost myself in the last relationship I was in, and I'm still questioning how he could have had problems with things about me that I thought were good. I constantly redirect myself and hold on to my own reality. I hope not only Christina, but everyone that comes here for your help and guidance can find their way back to themselves and tell these people that eat at our souls like termites to go screw themselves. A personality disorder diagnosis is not a license to hurt people. Maybe not the most positive comment, but I felt compelled. Audrey, Ohio. Thank you, Audrey. Anything that can support other people, I'm all for. Christina needed some help. Christina needed some support, and that's great. I hope you're watching, Christina. Next question. Don't know your locations. Please, everybody, tell us your locations. Let us know where you're at. I'd love to know, and so do a lot of other people. Sunaye says, my question is, my narc always accused me of cheating with someone. I don't even know sometimes. I think he invent them. So my question is, does he know that I have nothing to do with anyone he threw at me, or does he deliberately do it to annoy me? So she's asking, her boyfriend would constantly accuse her of cheating, and she wants to know, does he really believe that, or is he just saying that? So, again, I don't know this person, so I don't know. But I will tell you, this is a very common thing with personality disordered people, specifically borderline. Borderline, narcissist, histrionic, sociopath, and psychopath will do this often. Not all, but very, very, very common. It's extremely common for them to believe that you're cheating on them all the time. And there's so much psychology behind this. One is they're cheaters, most likely. If I accuse people of stealing all the time, I'm probably a thief. I don't steal, so I don't even think of people stealing enough. I forget and leave things out and go, oh my gosh. I tend to believe what people are telling me right away. Because I don't lie. I don't think they're lying all the time. Sometimes I have to catch myself. David, stop believing everything people are telling you right away, right? That's part of it, right? A cheater will believe that you're cheating, period. This is a borderline diagnostic trait, not just specific to borderlines, but it is a borderline diagnostic trait, to perceive abandonment where it doesn't exist. This is a part of abandonment. The biggest abandonment that people that fear of abandonment go for is that you're going to leave me for someone else. And so that's a big problem. The deeper issue to this to people that are like this is how much they hate themselves. Very, very important. We were talking about shame a minute ago. This is so much shame that they hate themselves, and they're certain everyone else will too. Does that make sense? So they aren't vulnerable. These people tend to not tell you everything about themselves, not show you everything about who they are, because they hate themselves. And when you see that, you'll hate them too, and you'll leave them. They're just focused on abandonment because they were abandoned in their life. And that taught them that they aren't good enough for anybody. Okay? I hope that answered your question. Thank you. If not, please keep asking anybody. I missed your question. Ask me again. Don't be afraid about repetitious questions. We all need to hear some things over and over again. I don't mind talking about the same things over and over again. I really don't. I like this subject matter. So please, if I miss your question, if I misunderstand, just keep asking me, keep telling me, give me more details. Thank you. All right. Steve from Toms River in New Jersey. Hello, Steve. I think that'd be great if you make a video about your story and your healing journey and the things that you've been through. It could help us better understand where you're coming from. I think that'd really be cool and interesting. Thank you, Steve, for telling me. Many of you have responded well to that and told me that you'd like me to make a video about my life story. And I'm going to. I'll try and do that this week. Maybe put it out this weekend or at the very latest next week. And I had a series of videos that really got into detail about my relationships I've had, my toxic, abusive relationships. And there's 25 videos where I just disclosed so much personal information. I didn't think they're going to be that big, and I didn't think I'd have people using that against me. So I privatized them. I might make them public again. But so many of you guys have been interested in these videos and my previous past and stuff, so I'm going to make a whole nother video. And I'm just going to it's not going to be long. I'm just going to depict my life story because you guys requested it. And thank you so much for being interested. This channel really is for you guys, so I don't really like to be too about myself. So it's really nice that you guys asked, though. Thank you. Thank you, Stephen. I will make that shortly. Lucy from the United Kingdom. Hello, Lucy. Hi, David. Thanks for answering my question last week. I got another one. Can you explain passive-aggressive behavior, please? I'm not sure I understand it fully. Also, I remember once reading it was in one of the clusters in the DSM. Is this true? And if so, why was it removed? Is it a narcissist trait? It is a narcissistic trait. There's 3 different types of narcissists, and you guys hear about the covert narcissist a lot, and that's the passive-aggressive. If your narcissist believes that they're kind of victim and they use that poor me, and then they're passive aggressive and they act like everything's okay and then punish you later for it, that's covert narcissist. So passive aggressive behavior can be as subtle as being late for work every day, right? If you're late for work every day, you don't like your job, right? You don't want to work. So what do? We just show up late, or we break things on accident, just because we just don't care. And this becomes passive-aggressive behavior. On the other extreme of it, a narcissist, right, that you date, that you live with maybe, they'll act like something you did in the morning, and maybe you did something in the morning that you think upset them, hurt them, made them angry in some way, and so you bring it up, and you're like, I'm really sorry I did that, and they act like, oh, that's no big deal. I was over that hours ago. And you're like, oh, are you sure? Yeah. And you're like, oh, okay, fantastic. As long as you're sure, no problem, right? And then later that night, right, they yell at you. Why did you say that to me? Why did you? And you're like, I tried to talk to you about it earlier today. And they might do something to you. They might punish you. They might ignore you, silent treatment, go out with somebody else, cheat on you. This aggressiveness. So it's being passive and aggressive at the same time. My behaviors, although I'm doing nothing, is doing all kinds of stuff. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Please just keep asking me, Lucy. On the simple extreme, like I said, it's just not doing what you're supposed to do, not following through with commitments because you really didn't want to commit to that, right? And that's the narcissist, right? The narcissist really didn't want to commit to you, but they want things from you, so they committed to you, right? And so then they'll be passive aggressive. Now they feel like they have to do something for you they don't want to do. I hope that makes sense, Lucy. Please just keep asking me questions, okay, about it. Thanks. And Joey from San Francisco. Hello, Joey. My ex is quiet, socially awkward, 0 real friends, poor communication skills, withdrawn, highly jealous of people, skewed perceptions of others' intentions, can't focus, very forgetful, loses all his sunglasses, lack of planning skills, disorganized thoughts, highly distractible, unable to regulate emotion, especially under stress, refuse to listen, lack of emotional empathy, short temperament, black and white thinking, blame shifting, gaslighting, and never said I love you or miss you. What does he really have? Can anyone help? Autism, ADHD, narcissism, or borderline? Joey from San Francisco. Thanks, David. You are awesome. Thank you, Joey. So I'm not going to tell you what I think someone has, because I'm not going to diagnose somebody, nor can I. I'm not a doctor. And if I was, I would be very careful talking about this at all. But doesn't sound like autism. And may have ADHD, but that's not the root of the problems for all these problems. Okay? And I'll just tell you that what you described, okay, what you described here sounds like a borderline. I hope that helps you. I've made a series of videos in a playlist on my channel. If you go to playlist, borderline personality disorder, that might help you to watch those. It might help you decide. You can also look up in the DSM and look at the actual character personality traits of borderline and see if that applies, if that helps you understand. This is very difficult to do with people in our personal lives, people closest to us. It's very difficult, okay? So that's why you're having problems. But yeah, that's all I can tell you. It sounds like borderline traits that you described. Thank you, Joey. Hi, David T. from Pennsylvania. Hello, T. You give the best advice. Love your open approach. Thank you. Do you consider a narcissist is essentially synonymous with BPD? No. My kinda ex is very clearly a BPD. You put kinda. I sometimes give him a break because he does go through horrible remorse after his rages or bad behavior. It is difficult for me to not feel sorry for him as he's his own worst enemy, although he truly nearly emotionally destroyed me. You feel sorry for him? Be careful of people you feel sorry for, okay? And what most likely is going on is that you have pain in here. You have something going on that you identified in him. His pain, with his pain. You feel sorry for him. That compassion is also self-compassion. I hope. We need to redirect this to self. Off of the borderline, onto the self. Feel sorry for the borderline, have self-compassion. Because healthier people don't need to feel sorry for all these people and date them and fix them and change them and help them and all this other quotes that we use with borderlines. Okay? So, and your question, do you consider a narcissist as essentially synonymous with borderline personality disorder? No, they're two totally separate personality disorders, and they really are. Like I told the last person, you can go watch my videos on borderline personality disorder. That might help. Realize that out of 10 personality disorders, there is tons and tons of overlap. Tons. Okay? That's why there's a specific number that you need. Like borderline, you need, was it 5 out of 9? There's 9 traits. It's a spectrum you could say we're all on. Maybe you have 1 or 2, but you need 5 for the disorder. And in borderline personality disorder, you might have traits of other personality disorders. You might lack empathy, like a narcissist, but you may not have narcissistic personality disorder. This person may not have all 5 of 9. I hope that makes sense. Lots of overlap, guys. Lots of overlap. Okay? That was your question. And keep asking me more if you have more or you don't understand. Thanks. This is a long question, and I'm going to run out of time. So I'm going to end part 1 here and answer Alicia in British Columbia's question in part 2. If you guys could, again, please help me by supporting me and subscribing to my channel, voting up or down, commenting down below, letting us know where you're from. I'd really appreciate that. Share this video in other places. Anybody interested in coaching, daviddemars.com. Thank you. Love yourself first, and I'll see you in part 2. Bye-bye.